I think that a whole cheat day, I think it's confusing for your palate. It's confusing for your cells. It's confusing for your body. It's confusing for your microbiome.
Progress is better than perfection, so at least everybody should at least try and make some progress.
There are naturally occurring sugars in your banana, in your mangoes, in your oranges. I just ate this one. And so you basically have three different sugars. You've got fructose, you've got glucose, and you've got sucrose.
So I have some fun segments. I definitely wanted to quickly get your answers on these topics. So I have this segment called Plant Strong or Plant Confused.
The oat, the better to be plant strong. And then when it comes to the almond milk, and it's just water and almonds, or is it water, almonds, emulsifiers, stabilizers, natural flavors, and added sugars?
What do you think about gluten-free?
There's a segment of the population that has a gluten intolerance.
Biggest nutrition myth that just won't die.
And moderation means something entirely different for you and me and my next door neighbor.
He says that vegetarians have smaller brains.
Is that if you're a vegetarian, you have smaller brains.
If our future self, right, could send a message about food, what would it warn us about?
If you made it this far, you're clearly into deep, meaningful conversations around health, lifestyle, and the science behind how we. 60% of people who watch these episodes haven't subscribed yet. If you enjoy these insights, my humble request is to please consider hitting that subscribe button. It will help us bring much more curious minds, expert voices, and keep the show going straight.
Ideology about diet in the West. So, but you have probably changed that thought process with people quite long back.
I can remember I had never had a sweet potato until my sophomore year in college. 21 years old when I had my first sweet potato. Almost 22 when I had my first mango, right? We didn't have mangoes. As firefighters, you got to know that it's a very male-dominated profession.
Yeah, I know we've covered a lot. We talked in detail about Plant Strong and why people should think about moving towards plant-based eating. So as you rightly said, progress is better than perfection. So at least everybody should at least try and make some progress. So I have some fun segments. I definitely wanted to quickly get your answers on these topics. So I have this segment called Plant Strong or Plant Confused.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll name a food or a habit or headline, and probably you can give a 30 seconds verdict. Like, what do you think about it? Like, so oat milk versus almond milk.
Oh, plants strong, but there's a caveat there. And the caveat is, what kind of oatmeal is it? Is it the quick oats? If it's a quick oat, it's plant confused, especially if it's coming in those little jars that are, have all kinds of sugar and stuff in them. If you make it from old-fashioned oats, great. If they're steel cut oats, great. If they are oat groats, great. But kind of the purer the oat, the better to be plant strong. And then when it comes to the almond milk, again, are we using an almond milk that is clean as the driven snow and it's just water and almonds, or is it water, almonds, emulsifiers, stabilizers, natural flavors, and added sugars?
Yeah. So it depends on what kind of ingredients it has. Yeah.
Yeah.
So clean. Make it more cleaner, better, both oat milk or almond.
Exactly. What kind of oatmeal is it, and what kind of almond milk is it?
And what do you think about this? Everything in moderation.
Well, I think it's very confusing. And I think people use the term moderation to give them license to basically eat whatever they want. And moderation means something entirely different for you and me and my next door neighbor. And I would tell you, and my father would tell you, that moderation gets a lot of people in trouble. And when you have a moderate amount of meat and dairy and processed refined foods, it adds up. It adds up in a hurry. And so,
Sure.
and so depending upon where you are on your health journey, you may need to be very mindful and lose the moderation mentality.
Got it. I think people need to think.
So I would say
What
moderation.
are the word?
Moderation is plant confused.
Cool. Keto bread.
Keto brand.
Keto bread.
Oh, keto bread. I don't know what keto bread is. I've never had it.
There are a lot of different terms these days. Yeah. Probably we can keep it confused.
Yeah, I think that's
I
good.
don't understand. Yeah. I don't know. Bread is bread, whatever it is, keto or non-keto. So,
I don't know if it's a special bread that somehow or another has had the, carbohydrates removed and it's just made from almond flour and water and something else. So it's just fat and protein. I have no idea.
maybe no gluten or probably something.
Yeah. Again, very confused.
What do you think about gluten-free?
Gluten-free? Well, I think that legitimately there's a segment of the population that has a gluten intolerance and they need to be mindful of that. And I have some people that are very close to me that have gluten intolerances and they get bloaty, they get diarrhea, they don't feel well. There's other people that have Crohn's, colitis. For those people, gluten-free is a very important distinction when it comes to the food that they're buying. But I think for the population at large, 97% of Americans, gluten-free is something that they really don't need to be too mindful of.
I think it's more, a lot of times the food marketing has been so much that they name gluten-free like everything in the shelf these days. For no reason.
And gluten-free, it was having its heyday back, I think, between 2010 and 2015. It's still a thing, but I think it's probably 4 tiers below, maybe 5 tiers below, protein now and fiber and, whatever.
Beyond Meat.
Beyond Meat is definitely not plant strong, but I'm not going to say it's plant confused either. I think it's just plant-based. And they're trying to get, they've cleaned up their recipe. That instead of using coconut oil, which is 92% saturated fat, they're using avocado oil. And I think that for somebody that wants a plant-based burger that is close to meat as far as the mouthfeel and the taste and the experience, I think you can't beat a Beyond Meat or an Impossible Burger. But know that it is not plant strong. It's not plant healthy.
Yes. What do you think of cheat days?
Cheat?
Some of the days we cheat.
Cheat. Wait, did you say cheat
days?
Cheat days.
Yeah.
Oh, cheat days.
Yeah.
What do I think of cheat days? Again, to me, you started this session today by saying it's about progress, not perfection. And I think that a whole cheat day, I think it's confusing for your palate. It's confusing for your cells. It's confusing for your body. It's confusing for your microbiome. And so I would not have a cheat day. Instead, I would tell you, have a cheat meal, right? Here and there, but don't give yourself permission to have a complete cheat day. I think that's a mistake.
Yeah, I think it comes in the way of progress, as you said. So then I think more you train your palate better for better food, it gets accustomed to it, like what we talked about fiber earlier, the last sessions. It is important, the body to get used to the new food which you're trying to put in the body.
Yeah, very much.
I think the last one is supplements. So there is a lot of discussion going on that trend. So.
Well, it depends what the supplements are. I think supplements are more plant confusion than they are anything else. I think that everybody listening to this podcast is aware that the one supplement that is non-negotiable is vitamin B12. Just because we eat and we buy food that is so clean these days, it's had basically the dirt and the soil removed from it, which is where B12 comes from, microorganisms in the soil. So B12 is a great supplement to take. Other than B12, I would say that, if you have a known deficiency in something, then it probably makes a lot of sense for you to supplement with something. A lot of lifestyle medical physicians right now that, suggest that people do vitamin D because it seems like most Americans seem to be low in vitamin D. Also, it seems that some of the omega-3 fatty acids are something that a lot of people are low in, or they don't have the proper enzymes to convert some of the shorter chain fatty acids into the longer chain fatty acids. You also have, I'm trying to think of some other ones that, a supplement that is really hot right now, I'm going to call it a supplement, is creatine.
Yeah.
And I think
True.
that the jury is kind of still out on creatine, but I know that there's some people that just are like, oh my God, for longevity, for brain health, for muscular health, creatine is a must-have supplement. I don't supplement with anything except for B12.
That's true. I think it's more, people argue that you need to take pill if you're a vegan to actually, sustain your life. But I think I know a lot of meat eaters who are actually not even having iron. They are having a ferritin issues. And I see a lot of times, it's amazed how the argument gets defeated there, right? There are a lot of examples. So great. Thank you for sharing that. Plant strong versus plant confused. So before I move to the other segment, again, it's similar, more fun segment. If food could talk, but before that, I think I have a couple of videos which I wanted to get your perspective on. So one is, this is on a very famous podcast where Benjamin Bickman, he's talking about vegetarians have smaller brains. So, maybe we listen to the video and look at the audio, and then you can have your verdict. He says
Sure.
that vegetarians have smaller brains. So I'm just quickly playing it.
Vegetarians have smaller brains. The less a human eats meat, then the smaller the brain becomes. The brain is so dependent on the nutrient density that comes from animal-sourced foods that it will suffer when it doesn't get them. It's a real thing. And why does depression go up so much when people stop eating animal-sourced foods? It's because you are depriving the brain of what it needs.
Yes. So if you notice, what he says is that if you're a vegetarian, you have smaller brains because you're missing out on vital nutrients that are available in meat. And I would tell him, I would ask him, what are the vital, nutrients that you feel like vegetarians are missing out on? And I don't know any. In fact, I would tell you that when you're eating a whole food, plant-based diet,
Yes.
you're flooding your system with the optimal nutrients, the optimal nutrition, and you're not missing out on anything. I think it's a miss on his part, very much so. And I would also point to, look at some of the greatest brains that are out there, from Leonardo da Vinci to Einstein, all vegetarians. And whether they had a big brain or a small brain, they certainly were smart. and
chess champions who are vegetarian.
And compassionate and nice human beings.
Interesting. I think some of the MD who call themselves and preach something which is against the nature, so which is very interesting. Again, I have another videos on the similar same podcast, but then this is another doctor talking about fruits. So he's saying why we shouldn't overeat fruits, which is like interesting for me when I was listening to that, and I was saying, this is something I've never heard. So let me play that.
Excessive fruit. Because I'm not a very big follower of fruit. Fruit should be eaten only in season because it has too much fructose in it.
Fructose being the sugars.
Fructose is a sugar, and fructose causes fatty liver. So our overconsumption of fruit is another factor that is contributing to coronary artery disease and diabetes and fatty liver. And we think of fruit as being a healthy thing. But fruit should only be consumed really in the fall and in season and in small amounts, because that high fructose level really causes major changes in your metabolism. So I'm not too fond of fruit. You can eat fruit in season, small amounts of it. But people go crazy about fruit. I had a patient who was having mental problems as well as cardiovascular disease, and that's all he lived on is fruit. Morning, lunch, and dinner. And the moment we stopped that, his health changed completely. It got so much better.
I don't know who that gentleman is, but I think he's mistaken. I think he's very much mistaken. And yes, right, there are naturally occurring sugars in your banana, in your mangoes, in your oranges. I just ate this one. And so you basically have three different sugars. You've got fructose, you've got glucose, and you've got sucrose. And for example, in this banana right here, if you were to go by weight, the fructose makes up about 5% of the weight of the banana and maybe 25% of the calories. Again, it's not like, I think he's confusing a piece of fruit with just like plain old refined sugar. And this is not sugar. This has protein, carbohydrates, it has fat, it has vitamins, it has minerals, it has polyphenols, antioxidants, phytonutrients, it's got fiber, it's got water. This, to me, is probably the healthiest snack that we as Americans can eat. And as I may have told you, I have 10 to 12 pieces of fruit a day.
Yeah.
Right? And he references the fact that he had a patient that was only eating fruit for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And mentally, he wasn't doing well. As soon as he gave up the fruit, things were fixed. That's such an anecdotal, data of one story. And so I am just not for 1 second buying any of what he is dishing up.
If you made it this far, you're clearly into deep, meaningful conversations around health, lifestyle, and the science behind how we. 60% of people who watch these episodes haven't subscribed yet. If you enjoy these insights, my humble request is to please consider hitting that subscribe button. It will help us bring much more curious minds, expert voices, and keep the show going straight.
I've been hogging or overeating fruits for my whole 40 years. And you've been eating for, the last 30 years only on plant-based. So I think fruits are part of our essential daily habits. And I think this is a confusion which has started sometime earlier. My wife was saying, hey, somebody is saying that you should not overeat fruits. I said, I don't know about the concept of overeating fruits. I think I don't care. I like whenever I want, I eat almost more than 12.
Yeah. Now, let me tell you, the thing is, most Americans are not overeating fruits. Like they're not even eating one or two servings of fruit a day. So I think that is a bit of a miss on his part. And where I think a lot of people miss is, yes, they may be consuming a lot of fruit, but they do it in their smoothies. And that to me can be problematic because you're getting an insane amount of, you got an apple, you got a banana, you got some blueberries, so you have a lot of calories. You take that blender and you basically pulverize up that fiber. So it's not as effective as it was when you were masticating, and chewing it. And that will potentially send your blood sugar through the roof, have that insulin spike, and create all those things. So I will agree that if you're doing your fruit in a liquid form, in a smoothie
or milkshakes, then of course,
then you might want to rethink.
I've never had diabetic till now, not even once. So I think that's it. People have to really wake up. Thank you for sharing your perspective on that. I want to break that myth. So before I move to my rapid fire, I have a quick segment which says, maybe I'll just shorten it to just 2 questions. So, if food could talk, if broccoli could give America an advice, what would it say?
Broccoli would say, I don't mean to brag, but I want you all to know I am 35% of my calories are coming from protein.
Yeah, perfect. High five.
Yeah.
Yes. If our future self, could send a message about food, what would it warn us about?
It would probably just warn us about, if you're going to eat anything from a package, a box, or a can, make sure that you learn how to read a nutritional facts label. And then even more important than that is look at the ingredients and read the ingredients and make sure you understand exactly what is in that product, because there's so many things that people are putting into their bodies that really don't belong in there, from, gums, emulsifiers, stabilizers, natural flavors, excessive sugar, oils, hydrogenated oils, trans fats. And it is, and way too many people are consuming way too many of their calories from these packaged, boxed, and canned foods.
Right. Thank you. So I think my couple of questions on the plantstrong, right? So what is your vision 20-year or probably 10-year from now? How you've seen the plantstrong movement and your plantstrong food line has come throughout, until now. And what do you see as the future, probably a 10-year Or maybe if it's too long, then 5 years.
Yeah, 5 to 10 years. Would love nothing more than for this brand right here, and this is just one of many categories that we play in, to be a household name. People, they know Plantstrong, they appreciate Plantstrong, they know what it stands for, they know that it is real food made from simple ingredients using our ultra strong standards. And it is the safest, cleanest, healthiest, most nutritious food that you can get from a packaged box or can. Period. End of story. And we have products for every day part of your day: breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, and we're just getting started.
I wish to see Plantstrong across all the household. At least right now, how we see plant-based coffees, or the milk in the coffee shops throughout. So we should be able to see food evolve in that way. So that's the next, probably in 10 years, we should look for.
Yeah. And wouldn't it be fantastic if the insurance companies, if food as medicine, if this was reimbursable by insurance companies, because it actually is medicine and can help treat chronic Western disease.
Chronic diseases. Wonderfully said. What generally gives you optimism today?
Optimism? I think we are firmly in the information era right now. And we are getting information at breakneck speed. And I think that the truth with food, with what is in fact the healthiest way for us to eat as a civilization, will come to the forefront here. The science is on our side. The truth is on our side. And I truly believe that it is the silver bullet that can help us with planetary health, our own individual and collective health that is going down the toilet in this country and in many industrialized countries. It will allow us ultimately to be more in tune with our values, Naga, that we cherish, which is to be kind and compassionate and a loving race.
I wish, definitely. We'll all collectively pray for that to happen.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Rip, for all the candid answers. So I have my quick rapid fire before we wrap up the session. Quickly fire away to get your answers. One food you wish people would eat more often? Or
I'm going to say beans.
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and in fact, month of March, every month this year offering a different challenge for people. In January, it was eat at least 30 different types of whole plants every week and move for 30 minutes a day. In February, it was hanging with Rip. So you hang from a bar, as you know, for 2 minutes a day in totality. And in the month of March, it's going to be eat half a cup of beans every day.
The biggest nutrition myth that just won't die.
I think that's pretty easy. And I think you know what it is too. It's protein. It's like, okay, you're plant-based, you're vegan. How in the world are you going to get protein? That's the one myth that just won't seem to go away.
One food people think is healthy, but usually isn't.
Well, I will say hummus, right? And that's because so many hummuses, unfortunately, are loaded with oils and tahini. And so their fat content, instead of being, down about 15%, because the chickpea is about 14% fat, the oils and the tahini push it up. So in some brands, it's 60, 75, 80% fat.
Unless you make it at home or buy Plantstrong hummus.
Yeah. Yeah.
If someone says, I could never give up meat, your one-line response.
You can. And I would challenge you to try not eating meat for just 14 days and then see how you feel and see where, and if you're able to, I would also do some before and after biometric screenings to see what happens with your numbers. I was speaking to a bunch of sixth graders yesterday, Naga, about nutrition. And I had one girl that said, I just like the taste of meat too much. I can never give it up. And, another response that is something that might work, it's kind of reverse psychology, is you're right. You probably never could give it up. You're right.
Yeah, true. Especially for sixth grader.
Yeah, you're right. You probably couldn't give it up. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Right. It's just for people that want to be the best versions of themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with that. That's what that's a good psychological way of dealing with, especially children. Most underrated vegetable.
I would say the potato.
Yeah. Sweet potato or just potato?
I'll just leave it at potato. Yeah, I mean the potato it's a magical food. I mean it is incredible. I say it's about 10% protein. It's almost got as much vitamin C as an orange, as much potassium as a banana. It is got almost as much fiber as a bowl of oatmeal. You could literally, if you had to, you could live off potatoes. You got everything you need. It'd be hard to live off of other foods, but potato, the almighty potato. The World Health Organization voted the potato the vegetable of the year in 2008.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think, but people, I think, just have that myth that, just carbs. So that's not diet.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot of health benefits. True. Most overrated health trend right now.
Well, I would say it is the protein maxing. People that think that they need at a minimum 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, up to 2.5, 3 grams of protein. I think it's the most crazy trend. I think most Americans are already protein toxic. And the last thing we need to be doing is feeding that, more protein fire. It's dangerous and it's affecting people's health. And unfortunately, most of that protein that people are consuming is coming from a weak, insidiously destructive form of protein known as animal protein. And for people that are getting it from dairy, it's coming from casein. And you and I both know that casein is, according to T. Colin Campbell, it's one of the most it's the number one carcinogen in the American diet.
I think my second last is your go-to meal on a busy day. Like you can't cook and you're busy.
Oh, but you mean if I was going out to eat, or I had just have?
Yeah, I mean, it's if you're so busy, if your go-to meal on any busy day.
Well, that's easy. I mean, I would just go to one of my heat and eat chilies and stews. It takes me. I crack it open with my fingers. Literally, you tear along the perforated line, pour it into a bowl, heat it up for a minute and a half in the microwave, pour it on top of some green leafies, and I'm good to go.
Great. One book that changed how you think about food or health.
Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease by Dr. Cobble.
I know you would say that. Anything apart from that?
Yeah, T. Colin Campbell's The China Study was pretty darn remarkable.
Right. Okay. Thank you. I think that's all I had, Rip. I think it's such pleasure talking to you. And you're such an inspiration, and keep going and transform many lives through plantstrong movement.
Yeah.
Right. I think I can keep hearing you for another, hours or over hour over hour, right? But
yeah,
cannot stop.
Yeah.
These conversations are not at all, boring. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, Naga. And listen, I want you to know I appreciate how much you prepare for your podcast, the passion you have for it, the wonderful questions that you've asked. You care deeply, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Great to hear that, and I wish you all the best. And I'll try to come and meet you all in the retreat once.
Ooh, that would be great. That'd be great. Yeah.
That was Rip Esselstyn sharing his wonderful wisdom from living plantstrong for the last 40 years. We are living in an age of information overload, especially when it comes to food. Food is not just fuel, it's memory, it's culture, it's identity, and sometimes it's just confusion. Health and clarity on what to eat doesn't come from trends. It doesn't come from influencers. It comes from intentional choices, repeated daily. Whether you agree, disagree, or feel somewhere in between, my hope is simple. Pause, reflect, and become conscious of what's on your plate and why it's there. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to move forward, because progress is important over perfection, as Rip clearly called out. If today's episode shifted even one belief you held about strength, protein, or health, then this conversation mattered. Share it, start a discussion, question louder narratives. Because change doesn't begin in hospitals, it begins at our homes. This is Naga signing off from Caffelogue with Naga. Until next time, take care of your body, your mind, and the planet we share. If you like this conversation, please hit the like, share, and the subscribe button to get the latest updates from my show Caffelogue with Naga. Thank you so much.